Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, this will be part one of my review of Hot Toys General Grievous, much anticipated figure. I generally don't say much about the boxes. I'm not a box guy. But on this one, they've got a really weird box, and this is actually a slip cover, and you pull the box out sideways. You have to take this cigar band off, and I hate these things because of this. So I will probably take it off permanently. But what I was going to say, this box is all styrofoam, and I've already had pieces break off of it, little tiny styrofoam pebbles. There's a plastic tray on the bottom, but why they made that styrofoam, I don't know. You know, they should have done something more durable, in my opinion, for what we pay for this figure. Anyway, let's take a look at what's inside the box. So here's the upper part of the box. I'll look at the accessories first before the figure, but one thing I'll point out is these arms split in half, so we don't have to swap out the arms to get the forearm configuration like you do on the Sideshow figure. The hands that come on it, they are articulating the fingers, and they split in half with the arms. We also have a pair of hands that don't split in half, and they articulate too. The very tips don't articulate, but the first two knuckles do, and likewise on the thumb. So, and then we have a pair of, or two pairs of hands that they're molded, they don't articulate, and they're designed to hold the lightsabers and I guess his electro staff. Also, these hands will join together so you can use them in the single arm configuration too. So that's nice. And then we have an elbow for each side. Part of the forearm slides off, and you can replace it with just the elbow, or this forearm with the hands cut off. And you've got that on both sides. You'll have to look at, he's got these, I don't know what you would call them, but these curved rods. They curve slightly, so you have to look at the figure to see which ones they go on. And then we have, it's kind of hard to get these things out of this styrofoam box. Then we have a swap out face mask, and they come, each one comes with its own set of eyes, which is nice. The one thing I'll say about the eyes, they're so dark around them, and the eyes themselves are dark. They don't stand out. You don't see them very well. But this here, obviously you can see this is one with battle damage around one eye. So the other thing I'll point out, a lot of people complain about this scar on his head and that it was too prominent. But when looking at it in person, on mine, it doesn't seem that prominent. You know, that they complained about the brown around it, making it appear too prominent. So, and now I'll take the figure out, and we'll take a look at him. So here is the Grievous figure. He is very heavy. He's also very long. Hard to get him all in the shot here. Here's what he looks like in the back. That moves. He's got a lot of pieces of armor that kind of pivot around. His chest armor opens up somewhat. So you can, I think that opens too, so you can see his organ sac. Although it's not very clear, so it's kind of dark. It's a dark green, so you really can't see too much. So, trying to be gentle. I don't want to break anything. There's a ball joint there, so his arm swings around, and then it pivots also at the top. His elbow bends. Now on the sideshow one, I had a hard time because his arm, as if I remember correctly, it pivoted inward. It didn't bend like a human elbow. And so I had a hard time posing it because of that. So it's kind of hard to grab him. There's so many of these bony things, and you don't want to break anything. His torso twists. He's got another ball joint at the hip, which is great for movement, although you have to be careful on the back about hitting his armor. So, and the instructions warn you about. I would recommend looking at the instructions for this figure. He's got a ratcheted knee joint, 2 of them. And then his feet also are ratcheted. There's a little bit of movement out. I guess you would call that the ankle. So I have to confess I am eating crow on this figure, because years ago, after the sideshow debacle, I told my friend Chris in the UK that I just wondered if anyone could actually engineer one of these figures adequately, because the original Grievous in the movie was CGI, and they didn't have to worry about the laws of gravity on that. You have a little bit of sideways movement. You've got a little like hook on the back, and you got to be careful. It's going to hit some stuff. And again, it's kind of hard. Everything's really tight, and there's so many of these little pieces. It's hard to get a good hold. These ear flaps, for lack of a better term, move. Well, like I said, I told my friend Chris, I just wondered if anyone could actually build a decent Grievous figure, and happily, I'm happy to admit I was wrong. So, but anyway, there is the figure. Now let's look at his accessories. So here is the accessory tray. Happy to say it's all plastic, so you don't have to worry about the styrofoam crumbling on it. It also comes with a cape. I'm not going to take the cape out, because once you take it out, getting it back in the bag is going to be hard. And I have to cart this to the office. My posing part of the video will be done at the office, because my boss's 10-year-old boy will get a real big kick out of seeing this figure. Anyway, so we've got a, well, here is his staff, power staff, or whatever you call it, and it does come with these power effects. I'm not sure which is the correct way to put them on. I don't know if it really matters. I think the white tips are at the end, the outside end. There you have it. This is very light. It's plastic. It's got a lot of detail inside the clear plastic bulb ends. But given, it's probably best that it is a lightweight plastic, so you don't have a balancing problem when posing it with the figure. And now I can't get this off. There you go. So what's interesting, we get 2 swooshing blades, only 2, but we have 4 lightsabers, and then 4 regular blades, 2 green and 2 blue. But I wouldn't use these anyway, so that's a moot point. The 4 lightsabers, we've got each one, we've got the wired, USB wired one, and then we've got just the regular hilt. So you have your options of how you want to display them. Then we've got a clip for the power box, and this clip goes onto the mast for the figure stand, which I'll get to in a second. Get in there. This has the 4. Most of them have only 2. This one has all 4 things. So plugs for the mouse. And then here is his blaster, fairly nicely detailed, and unlike any other blaster we had to date, but it's such an uncivilized weapon, so I don't know if I'll be using it. Here is the base. Now I do not like bases with a nameplate on them. And in general, I don't like this, period. However, it's a very heavy figure, and I don't want to risk it falling, so I will be using the base. But I think I have an idea to make it more to my liking. And then here is the mast for it. Not sure how well this will work on the figure, but you know, it's better than nothing. So there's the accessories, and let's put them together and see how wonderful he looks posed. So I thought I'd show him before I put the cape on, so you can get a good look at the pose. I was going for something that looks like he's mid-stride walking. Really worried about him falling over. I did pose him and set him on the table without the stand, and he stood up, but I'm just worried, you know, he's just so heavy. The other thing, I had trouble getting all points of his feet with this pose on the ground. I did have a trouble with this hand while I was posing. This hand fell off, and one of the thumbs fell off. The thumb was easy to snap back in, but that was a little disconcerting. See if you can get a good look at him this way. Should have brought my turntable. So let's put the cape on him and see how he looks with that. A word about the cape. It's nice. It's got some nice fabric, but being in the box, it's gotten wrinkled. I wish I had ironed it. The other thing is it's got wire down both sides in the front, and then there's 3 wires. There's one here, you can see in that seam, one in the middle, and then one over here. So it's not going to drape naturally. It will have to be shaped. And then it's got these pockets for lightsaber hilts. Also, it's not sewn on the bottom. The lining is not sewn to the outer fabric, so I don't know how that's going to work. But so let's put the cape on and see how he looks. So here he is with his cape on. I did have issues with the cape. It's a very tight fit around his neck, and that little tiny snap was not easy to fasten. Also, I'm not the best at posing these wired capes. I did my best trying to figure out, you know, how it would look over his shoulders in this pose. But I'm not 100% satisfied with it. The other problem I have with the cape is it just covers up too much. You can't see all his bone armor. You know, I guess it's made out of bone. It looks like it's made out of bone, but you know, all the mechanisms and so forth on his upper arms and his shoulders. So so I don't know if I'll keep the cape on him or not. Another item, if you're wondering, I also left the effects off of his staff because I figured in just a carrying pose like this, he wouldn't have it activated. So that would only work for if I was showing him in an attack pose. So here is part 1 of General Grievous. I'll do a future video or videos with him wielding the lightsabers, if I can make that work. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to your comments. Thank you.